In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to make a fun little scarecrow drawing. Hi, I'm Rashonda, and I'm the creator of this YouTube channel as well as the artbyro.com website, where you can find over 250 art and drawing tutorials. I hope you'll enjoy this video and hopefully you feel inspired to follow along and make some of your own artwork. So let's go ahead and go on over to the art studio and get started. Today I'm going to be drawing a scarecrow. I love drawing these, they're so much fun and they're pretty easy. So I think they're kind of beginner friendly if you're more of a beginner. So let's go ahead and start by drawing out some little guidelines. So this is where his arms are going to go. He's going to be on a, on a post out in a field somewhere. His head will be here. And you can adjust this as you need to. That's why we're doing the guidelines first. He's going to have a hat on. And I don't care if the hat goes off the paper a little bit. If that is something that would bother you, then you want to make sure you leave plenty of room for everything to fit inside your paper. And we can clean this up if we need. Let's erase some of this so we can see what's going on. And I am doing mine on an artist trading card. And if you've seen any of my other videos, then you probably know that I use artist trading cards quite a bit for various reasons. But one of the big reasons, something you might not think about, is when you do your drawings like in a sketchbook or on a bigger piece of paper, for one thing, it takes up a lot more time. And I don't know about you, but I've had a habit in my life of not finishing my drawings that I start. I either get bored with them or something doesn't go quite the way I want it to and I kind of lose interest. I get discouraged with it. And I found that working small on the artist trading cards makes it easier for me to be able to finish. It's not so overwhelming. It's not where I'm struggling to try to find time to get it finished. So I can usually complete an artist trading card in about 30 minutes, sometimes less, depending on how detailed it is. And for sure, you can do things that are detailed enough that it could take you quite a bit of time if that's what the style of art you're trying to do, or if you're doing something really detailed. But it is possible to get your art done much quicker. So what I did, drew the face on here, obviously. So you can draw your face any type of a jack-o'-lantern style face. And then I'm going to go ahead and start adding in the details of the pumpkin. So yeah, so I like using the artist trading cards because it saves me time. But one of the big benefits that I find from doing them that is something you might not think about is when I'm done, I can put these in a binder because they're the same size as like a Pokemon card or a baseball or football card, some kind of sports collectible card. They're that same size, and there are already binders and sleeves and ways of saving those, and they're the same size. So what I do is I have a binder that I use as kind of a portfolio of my work. And artist trading cards, the intention is to trade them, but that doesn't mean that you have to. And so what I will do is put them in that binder and I'll keep them for a while. And if at some point I feel like getting rid of some of them and trading them off, then I can do that. And if not, I just keep them. They stay in my binder and I can go through and look at some stuff I did. Maybe get some ideas for some new drawings that I want. I can look at some of my old drawings and maybe spark some kind of inspiration from them. Or just keep them so you have them. But one of the big things, for me anyway, is that I don't have piles of drawings laying around all over the place. So I don't know about you, but I have in my closet, I have a stack of drawings that I've done throughout the years. And they're just kind of taking up space in there. I really don't ever go through them too much and look at them, other than maybe every now and then I might take a peek in there, see what I have, and try to decide what I want to do with them. Should I just picture them? Should I keep them? So let me know in the comments if you can relate to any of this. Do you have drawings somewhere in your house, in your living space? Maybe in a closet, maybe you got a bunch of sketchbooks somewhere. Let me know in the comments if this is something you're familiar with and that you've experienced. I'd like to hear what your experience is with it, but I don't enjoy having my artwork just stacked up in my closet, and then I got sketchbooks, and the sketchbooks are in a tote somewhere up in the attic. And so I find that using the artist trading cards, I actually will go through and look at them, and I enjoy it a lot more. They're just in one binder. I can add sleeves if I want. If there's some in there that I don't really enjoy or that I'm willing to get rid of and let go, then I can get on a artist trading card group. There's some Facebook groups where you can get on and trade cards with one another. I have my local artists group that we meet in person once a month, and sometimes we do trades in there. And it's enjoyable to collect other people's artwork and trade with them. I have artwork from all over the world from different people in different styles, different media, different techniques that they've used. And those are very enjoyable to go back and look through. Again, you can get inspiration from other people or just to enjoy the work that they've done. So I find that doing my art on my artist trading cards instead of in a sketchbook or just in a loose page somewhere that who knows what's going to happen to it over time, I find this really works for me. So, and I don't know if any of you have ever tried artist trading cards. If you have, let me know. I know it's not super popular, and I think lately I've noticed in the groups that people are starting to complain quite a bit about the postage fees. I guess the postage fees have gone up, so it's making it a little more difficult. But even if you never have the desire to trade, I love the fact that I just have that binder and I can go through and look at it. And it does bring me joy to go through and look at some of my old drawings instead of having that stack of, if I'm honest, probably most of them aren't even finished on the bigger papers. I have quite a few not finished drawings, but it's kind of bothers me a little more to look through those. I don't get the same level of enjoyment out of it as I do going through my little binder of artist trading cards. So there is the drawing, the sketch part. And then of course we need to outline it. We'll add some color. And you can do whatever type of face you want on yours. You can add a different style hat, different types of clothing. You can make it a little more torn and weathered looking. Whatever your style is, you want to add that. So I'm showing you one way to draw this, but I want you to think about different things you can do. What are some different types of hats you can put on them? What different types of clothes? Maybe instead of having them just like on this cross type of a position, maybe you can have them doing something different, maybe different types of arms. Think of the variation that you can put in your drawings to make it more your own. So let's go ahead and start working on that outline. I'm using these Edding brand pens. They come in a set of 4. I think it was like $11 for 4 outlining pens, which I think is pretty reasonable. And then what I'm going to do is to literally just trace over what I drew here. So this pen that I'm using, this one is the second widest nib. So I think what I'm going to do is switch to the smaller one because there's kind of a lot of detail in this card. So I think what I'll do is start with the smaller one, and then I will go over maybe the outside edges with the thicker outline. So there's not really a whole lot to say about outlining. You're just going to trace right over top of your pencil lines. And you can add some shading with some hatching, cross hatching. You could do stippling if you wanted to. It's another option. So I think I will speed this up because it's going to get kind of boring. And then I will be back with you when I have this outline done. The outline is done, so the next thing to do is use a big block eraser. You can use one of those pink erasers. This is just one that I happen to have that I got from like a drawing set or something. I don't know where it came from. It doesn't really matter what eraser you use, but you want to just erase all them pencil lines. And then I'm going to use markers. I like using markers. I've been using markers for a while now. I started using them when I did a lesson plan back when I was still teaching in the classroom. We were doing a series on graffiti drawings, so I needed to start using markers for that, and I enjoyed them, and I kind of stuck with that. So I'll be using markers a day. You can use whatever you want. What I do with my markers is test them out on a piece of scrap paper first to make sure the markers that I have picked out will blend together good, because I want to blend these colors together a little bit. So what I do, and again, I'm just showing you one way to do this. You need to find what works for you. I'll take the lightest color and fill in a section. So in this case, I'm going to do the entire jack-o'-lantern pumpkin area. And I do want to mention that if you are not familiar with what artist trading cards are or how to go about making them, there is a freebie that I will link in the description box. It will show you how to cut your cards out from a piece of cardstock. And you can get, I believe it's 10 blank cards out of one piece of cardstock. You can also buy them already cut on Amazon, but it's super cheap to make your own instead of paying somebody else to cut them out. So what I do is I just buy big packs of cardstock, and then I just use that when I need some new cards. I'll cut them out. So typically what I'll do is I'll make sure I have a decent size supply of them already cut, and then when I feel like doing some drawings, I just grab one and go. So I don't want to have to cut them out before getting started, because that's one extra step that could throw you off and keep you from doing your artwork. So you want to make it as easy as possible to get started and not have to do too much extra. So that link is in the description box. You can download the freebie. It's got some other information in there as well, but so I have 3 markers. I have a yellow, a medium lighter color orange, and then a little bit darker orange. So what I'll do is I'll just go from light to dark, and then you can use that lighter color or a colorless blender to soften the edges up a little bit. And depending on how dark or how light your markers are, you'll have either a little bit more of an edge, or you can try to find a marker to soften that up a little bit. So it's gonna depend on your markers, how many markers you have, what colors you have available to you. And you can't always get exactly the perfect marker for everything. Sometimes you are gonna have a little bit harsher of an edge than what you might like because you don't have the markers in between the colors. So you just go through, add some darker areas. I prefer doing my artwork this way. I think it looks less flat than just coloring it in a solid orange. I like having the variation of the colors and some lights and darks in there. But again, it depends on your style and what you're going for and how you want your finished drawings to look. You should always make your drawings your own. So if something that I'm doing doesn't look right to you, you don't like it, then you should change that when you're doing your drawings. My goal when I'm making these videos is not to get you to do your drawings exactly the way I am doing mine. My goal is always to inspire and encourage you just to get started and do some of your own artwork. So I am going to continue working on this, and I'm going to again speed that up because this is probably going to get pretty boring, and I will be back with you when I have some of this finished. I went ahead and colored everything in, and this is what it looks like with all the marker added. And then the last thing I want to do is to add white with a Jelly Roll pen. And of course, this is optional. You can add the white, leave it out, whatever you think would look better. I like adding it in just to give things a little bit of contrast. Add a little bit to the grass. And I'm not thinking about any type of a light source when I do this. I'm just picking areas, breaking up some of the big chunks of color. You could put more thought into it if you want, but it's not an illustration, it's just a fun little cartoon drawing. So I don't really feel the need to be super technical and realistic with it. And that's pretty much it. You can add less, you can add more, whatever whatever works for you, whatever feels right. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you feel inspired to create some of your own artwork. And I will see you in the next one. Happy creating! That's it for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you followed along, or at least feel inspired to create some of your own artwork. If you did like the video, please hit that like button. That really helps me out. And also check out that description box. There's those freebies in there I talked about that shows you how to get started with artist trading cards, as well as a link to the Facebook group if you're looking for a community to join. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!